Welcome back to another UNC Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, Tar Heel Illustrated, I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me is our Director of Football Recruiting, Miss Deana King. Deana, this is a big day for UNC football. Not just recruiting, but this is a big day for UNC football as Mack Brown's Tar Heels have landed their first five-star commitment in 6 years. Elijah Hood did it in 2014, and today, five-star cornerback Tony Grimes, the number 13 overall prospect in the class of 21 for in the entire class, and he's the number one cornerback in the nation. And we'll get into the class stuff here in just a minute, but he has announced he will play football for Mack Brown, Dre Bly, Jay Bateman, and the Tar Heels. This is an enormous pickup for the program.
Yeah, this is huge. He is an elite football player. And, when you're talking about up in the Tidewater region, the names Dre Bly, Ronald Curry, the Vick brothers, the talent pool up there, and he's right in there. And so, yeah, I agree. Very, very, very huge day for Coach Brown and his Tar Heels.
Jacob Turner, who's on our staff, he and I were up in Virginia Beach this past weekend at the Game Academy day camp, and we got a chance to talk to Tony Grimes for a while, talk to his dad and just people around there. And we did an interview with him, and he wasn't really going to reveal a whole lot, but one of the things we did learn, since then is 100% sure is that he was going to commit to North Carolina, and the reasons why has committed to North Carolina. There are quite a few, and it leads me to believe that this was a decision that he was trending toward for some time, in no specific order. Yes, proximity was a helpful thing. It wasn't a deciding factor in any way, but it was certainly a helpful thing. But I think the trust in Dre Bly, and it's not just because Dre's from the 757. He's a guy that has made it at every level, college football Hall of Famer, Pro Bowl, won Super Bowl, and now he's a college coach at his alma mater. But it goes beyond the trust factor of just Dre being the guy, and they have a relationship that has developed beyond just football. But he really thinks Dre is a great coach and is a guy that can get him to All-American status and be a high pick in the NFL draft. That's the mission here. Get to the NFL and win a ton of games at Carolina while you're there. Help kind of change the course of this program, which it's in the midst of right now. The Dre Bly factor, and there are a lot, that's enormous here, Deana.
Dre, he's did this, done that, done everything, seen some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, went head-to-head with some of the best wide receivers in the NFL. So Dre has a lot of vast knowledge, and, you heard in Tony's interviews, he says he wants someone that's able to prepare him to get to the next level. And him and his family's got a lot of trust in Dre to get him at that point. And, you just don't think of Dre. You look at Coach Bateman, and he has Virginia roots too. And so Coach Bateman and his defense, what he did this past year, Coach Glover, Tony's dad, even mentioned that it was he turned people turned their heads when they seen what Coach Bateman did, especially in that Clemson game.
Well, and staying on the Dre Bly thing before we hit on a couple of other points, even the Stephen Gilmore, I don't know how many people know that Dre has trained with Stephen Gilmore and worked him out a lot in the last couple of years. And if you don't know Stephen Gilmore, just Google his name, you're going to know who he is. That was a big part, because one of the pitches other schools are making against Carolina, maybe in this recruitment and other recruitments of defensive backs, guys that Dre Bly would be coaching in college, is, hey, he's only been a college coach for 1 year. That's his coaching experience, essentially. And then why would you go play for a guy that spent all his time in the NFL, and he barely has any college experience? He hadn't proven anything yet. But Grimes sees that he has. He sees the work he's done with Gilmore. And if he's good enough for Stephen Gilmore, then he's good enough for Tony Grimes and a lot of other guys.
I bet you Dre Bly could go out there on the field and probably be just as effective as he was about 10 years ago, because the competitive spirit that he's got. He was out there one year doing 40-yard dashes with people. So you know how Dre is, and the Grimes have a lot of trust and respect for Coach Bly.
The Mack Brown factor is significant as well, because he has won at the highest level in college football before, and I think there's a lot of belief here that it can happen again and soon in Chapel Hill. And one of the things that Tony told me was that, Mack Brown will work me hard, but he'll love me hard. And there's that track record factor, but there's a care factor. And we've seen this, and I'm not saying it wasn't there in the previous regime at all. That would be totally unfair to say that. But we've seen it in abundance since Mack took over. We hear kids reference that on the recruiting trail, even ones that don't end up going to Carolina. They still say these things. And I think that, when your kid's going to go off to college and he's going to go somewhere different, and he's going to face the challenges that an athlete faces, especially these days. Things are so crazy right now that you want to feel good about not just the position coach, but the head coach and just the spirit and culture of the program. And it's very clear that the spirit and culture of the program that Mack Brown has created and is fostering in Carolina was another one of the big draws for Tony Grimes.
Well, look at the transition when Coach Brown took over. There could have been a lot of fallout with the change in the coaching staff, but the guys that were there for his first year, they embrace Coach Brown. You hear Michael Carter, Chad Surratt, all the guys saying, Coach Brown, we love him, he loves us. It's just a great family, and so that's a big plus. That's the common word when we talk to all these recruits. Family. They talk about the family.
Another thing that Tony hit on when telling us why he committed to North Carolina is the class that, right now, class of 2021, but he's going to enroll early in August. As of the time that we're taping this, we're not 100% sure if it's going to be 20 or 21 that he's going to be a part of. Since Jaden Chalmers is not enrolling, certainly a spot opened up, so that might be it. We don't know 100% sure, but go to TarHeelIllustrated.com, and we'll know pretty soon, or maybe by the time this runs, we'll already have that information. But I asked him about the class, because 21 without Tony Grimes is still number 8 in the country. 16 commitments, 10 of them 4-star kids. And he said, yeah, it's not just the guys that are coming in, but there's a lot of talent already there. He noted that they have the number 3 quarterback in the country. They have a number 5 linebacker. They have the number 10 wide receiver. He said NFL scouts are going to be in Chapel Hill. They're going to be watching North Carolina play. And so they're going to watch him play. They're going to watch his development. His eventual mission is to get to the NFL, be a high draft pick, and win a ton while he's in Chapel Hill. So he said the guys in the classes of 20, 21, and 22 are all going to benefit from what's already happening there, and it will happen even more so. And what I find really interesting, Deana, is he said as a result of all these things, he believes North Carolina could win a national championship, or will win a national championship while he's there, because it's not just Tony Grimes, and he's not going there saying, hey, I'm going to save this program. He's going there saying, I'm going to be a part of a lot of stuff that's already going on.
Great players recruit great players. And you look what Carolina's got this past year. They had Desmond Evans. They got Kedrick Bingley Jones, Miles Murphy. They were some of the top prospects in the class of 2020. And then, now you start off, you got Drake May, who is just, his stock is going up, and he is. I may be partial, but I think the kid's a 5-star quarterback. I mean, he has all the tools. And then you got Jabari Ritzie, a 4-star. Ra Dilworth, who's a 4-star. Power Eccles, a 4-star. All this talent from North Carolina coming in. You got 4-star offensive tackle Eli Sutton coming from Tennessee. Now you got the big one out of Virginia, and then you're going to start a pipeline there. So he said it best: great players recruit great players.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys have been recruiting him in the class. We have several kids up there, which current commits in this class are recruiting, and Keyshawn Silver's name kept coming up. They all seem to like him a lot. Tony Grimes, 5-star cornerback. As far as the class 21 goes, he's the number 13 overall prospect in class, number 1 in his position. He really is a huge get for UNC. You don't get too many 5-star football players that go to Chapel Hill, so this is big, and it will be very interesting to see, the trickle effect. If there is, you said pipeline. It's one guy. It's one guy from the 757. Remember, Mack said they're going to get the bulk of their team basically from in-state, depending on from year to year and what the talent level is. They're going to go outside the state for the great ones. Well, I don't like to use the word great very often. I think it's one of the most overused and misused words in sports. But as far as the quality of a prospect goes, they landed a great one today.
Well, I followed UNC recruiting for a long time, and I will compare this day as the day Ronald Curry picked Carolina over Virginia. And we all know what type of prospect Ronald Curry was, the top football and a top basketball player in the country. So I can compare it to that this day today.
Ronald Curry, who went to Hampton High School, the Hampton Crabbers. Tony Grimes, Princess Anne High School, and he will soon be a North Carolina Tar Heel. For Deana King, this is Andrew Jones. You've been watching another UNC football recruiting podcast right here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're checking us out on YouTube, Tar Heel Illustrated. Thanks for stopping by.